So, Tanner, I was watching WWE this past week, and it made me realize how much better walkout music used to be for some of these guys. You know, it's not the same as it used to be. It got me thinking, though. What are our favorite walkout intro songs of all time across any sport?
That's true. That's true. Because they aren't the same anymore. They aren't the original.
It's too tame.
There's not the impact of a Triple H coming out or a Kane or anything like that, right? You don't get that impactful,
it's not exciting anymore.
Scary music.
Yeah, people are always afraid of going too far with things and all that. And I don't know. I feel like there was a time period in sports where we just were able to let our personality show a little more.
It's true. It's true, Jason. I mean, walk-up songs, walk-in songs, whatever you want to say, from all sports angle, has always been a thing that a lot of fans at the stadium or at the event has really, inspired to see.
I got one growing up that I was my favorite, and that's just because I was a big WWF fan. But Matt Stairs had the Stone Cold Steve Austin Glass Shatter intro as his walk-up.
Ooh, Matt
Stairs. That was pretty dang cool to hear at a Royals baseball game. Was Matt Stairs coming up to bat, and you get to hear the glass shatter. Now, it's unfortunate that he wasn't a better player, but that was a cool walk-up song.
Well, that was Matt Stairs, at least after he was washed.
Sure, he was like 40 years old by then.
So, number one for me, by far, is from the GOAT. That's the Alan Parsons Project. And the greatest player in the history of sports had that as his walkout song. Tanner, do you have that pulled up?
Yep. I mean, if you guys don't know what this is, just go rewatch Space Jam.
Space Jam.
This is one of the
You don't need Space Jam for this.
Entertainment purposes. When you hear that, you know something's going on.
You know it's the GOAT when you hear that song. It's all about the GOAT.
I've heard it a lot in hockey as well.
Yes.
Hockey.
Hockey stole it from MJ.
Oh, I don't know.
I mean, there's a lot of different ones out there that people like to walk up to. I know at spring training like to do some fun ones as well, but for me, guys, like I'm kind of walking up to a little Eminem, right?
What do you mean you?
Abracadabra?
This is your walk-up, or was this somebody else's walk-up?
This would be my walk-up.
This would be your walk-up if you had one?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like, let's get it. And it would be
He keeps on
right in the
forgetting
middle.
what he wrote down. The whole crowd goes so loud. He
Get it
opens
up,
his
get
mouth,
it
but
going.
the words won't come out. He's choking how? Everybody's choking now. The clock's run out. Time's up. Over. Plow. Snap back to reality.
so that's kind of what I had in mind there. Mike, what would you walk up to, man?
What, the Matt Stairs thing? Oh,
Or
no. What would I walk up to?
What would you walk up to?
It depends on how I'm feeling that day, You know, it's like we were at Argosy earlier. Something smelled like a sewer, so you could do the rocks. If you smell. No, I'm just kidding. Not that. No, honestly, for me, it would be something with heavy metal, obviously. So I don't know. I don't know that I have a song necessarily with a quick impact intro that's right on the top of my mind anyway. But
It would definitely be metal, whatever.
Oh, yeah. It would take me some time to think. I'd have to overanalyze for like hours on end before I figured that out. But there's just too many for me to pick from.
I mean,
I don't have to overanalyze, man. Like for me, like I don't want to steal from the GOAT, so I would go with the old Eric Hosmer walk-up song.
Slipknot.
Oh, there it goes.
Oh, I don't know about Slipknot, man. It's all right. I mean, I don't have a problem with
it. Or are you going to be...
You could work with that.
There's Killswitch Engage.
Yeah.
That one's a little softer. But actually, I like this song. I know it starts slow, and then it gets real heavy. You have to cut out the beginning for me and just jump straight in.
Wait. Here's one you're going to see here soon.
Breaking Benjamin, yeah. That could be a fun... Actually, Breaking Benjamin's a good one.
This could be...
Old hard rock. Yeah. That could be a good intro. Yeah, I always liked them, man. I've been following them for like 20 years now.
What do you got, Jason?
It's the old school Eric Hosmer, man, from 2014, 2015, some cut. That's what I would walk out
cut.
to. I could do it because it's kind of a combination of R&B / I'm trying to get frisky right now.
Walking up, getting frisky at the batter's box.
I do think it's interesting Hosmer picked this song, though, to be his walk-up song. But if you think about it, like, he's kind of in our age group, so, I mean, he was into that same time period with Trillville.
Whoa, watch your language there, man.
I don't know if they ever said that at Kauffman Stadium.
Well, they missed opportunity.
Watch your damn language on that song, dude.
But in the end, guys, we all know what walkout song that we all three would have at the same time. So let's get into it.
Well, what was that, The Godfather?
Ooh.
I think
A little
that'd
old
be
school on that one.
That would be our walkout song. Probably
It would be
the Godfather special. That was our old friend AC's favorite intro we ever had.
But hey, let's get into it, guys. Great show coming up here. Let's roll.
Welcome into the Sports Buffoons Podcast.
Yo, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of the world, welcome on in back again to the Sports Buffoon Studios here out of Lenexa, Kansas, of course. And we got the full clan, believe it or not. That's hard to believe these days. We got the full clan. We got Tanner to my right, Jason JG to my left. How do we do this? I forgot all about how to even do a podcast.
Do you remember how to do this, Mike?
Not really. I got some Coors Edge NA beers I'm rocking. I'm on 17 days of no drinking. So we're on the back half of this.
Right there with
so,
you,
dude. I don't know if this is good for me or bad for me because I feel like sometimes my brain can work better with a few drinks, but
just can't do that, man.
It's like bowling, when you go bowling, you do better the first couple games when you've had like a pitcher of beer, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I'm with you, man. I've got a couple of non-alcoholic beers over here too. So
non-alcoholic lime margarita. Is that what that is?
Yeah. They took all the alcohol out of that, man.
they took it out.
You know they did.
Did someone come and steal it? Did someone come and show up and just somehow?
Hey, man,
suck
I
it
like
out?
you guys know I like the non-alcoholic beers, man. They just taste really good to me. So
start drinking some kombucha, man, every once in a while. That'd be a good idea. Because then you don't know what the alcohol is. It could be anything. It's just random. So surprise yourself.
It's a good idea.
One of those things.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Tanner, what are you sipping on?
It's got a little Dr. Pepper Zero, so not too fancy, guys.
See, we're all in zero, man. Zero alcohol, zero sugar.
Yeah.
Zero alcohol. Nothing over here. So that's good, man. And you're playing baccarat sober these days, I heard. So that's pretty cool.
We're gonna switch it up, man. We're going to switch it up. We're going through a little bit of a lull.
Yeah.
I think you and I both are going through a lull in terms of professional gambling. And so that's how it works, man. If you have the appropriate bankroll, you got to work through the highs and the lows, understanding that trend line is always going in the right direction.
Yeah, hopefully.
I mean, you would hope.
All right, guys. Well, I know I've been busy. I've been in St. Louis off to work lately a few times, so just good to be back here so that way we can all sit here and talk about. You guys can update me on what's going on in basketball because I have no idea other than Florida won the championship.
That was a hell of a game, by the way.
I don't know. I've heard weird things about the outcome of that and how it's basically Cooper Flag ended up sucking at the end or whatever. But
he did not suck. I
know.
refuse to hear that message.
I don't know. It's just what I've heard on the radio. So
the radio is wild. You listen to Bob Festival?
I don't think he sucked.
No, there you go. That's all I had to say.
No, I don't think he sucked. I think it was just Florida was the better team on that particular night, which that's going to happen sometimes.
No, Duke and Houston played. Duke lost to Houston. Houston was the better team.
Well, we get the NBA playoffs starting a week, right?
NBA playoffs start next week.
And also we got Royals right now in the background. They're currently 5-5 as we speak.
You know what else is starting here in a week or so? Stanley Cup playoffs.
Oh, yeah. Stanley
and
Cup.
again as well.
And we got the draft coming up in 2 weeks.
Got the draft. Yeah.
And WrestleMania is in a week.
Yeah.
So we got all kinds of stuff coming up, man. That's good stuff. So, well. Oh, there you got another NA drink over there popping open. Nice.
This is a
lime margarita NA.
No, this is like a lime Gatorade, actually.
Oh, like Gatorade.
They
I like
started
that.
putting it into a can these days.
Yeah,
They started putting it into a can.
that's a good deal right there. I
Lime
like that.
Gatorade. Or lemon lime, actually. Lemon lime.
You could probably have a few of those and be all right.
Yeah, you're good. I'm trying to stay hydrated these days.
That's
I had a
good.
Charlie horse the other day, Mike.
Those
Did you hear
are
about
so
that?
vicious, man.
Charlie horse.
I had a Charlie horse. I used to have him all the time in high school when I played basketball and stuff, and even into my 20s, and then I just didn't have one for a long time, and then it just popped up out of nowhere in my 40s. I was like, bruh,
I've never.
where'd
had
you
one.
come
Oh
from?
my gosh!
I don't think I've ever had one.
I had them when we worked at Target, and it was like, of course, a Sunday. You had all the call-ins, and you get ready to get up, and you get the Charlie horse in the morning, and it doesn't go away. So you're climbing all the ladders in the back room in the meantime.
Oh yeah, well
Oh.
it's not actually that
awful.
bad. It's not bad at all after the first 60 seconds.
Oh no, it
You
lingers.
once you get past the first 60 seconds, it's gone, and then you realize, oh yeah, I should probably get hydrated for the next 48 to 72 hours.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That's weird. I've had like sore calves and stuff, but never like a Charlie horse like I've heard about. So
Have you guys seen like some of these Charlie horses before? Hang on.
what do you? I don't know if I want to see pictures.
I've
of
seen-
those.
You
I've
gotta
seen-
see these pics.
I've seen Charlie hustle before. I actually got to meet him in Las Vegas.
Yeah,
He gave me an
Charlie-
autograph.
Charlie Hooper. Charlie. I don't know. There's all kinds of different Charlies. out
Charlie
there.
Charlie Hustle gave me an autograph in Vegas, man.
Yeah. They gave you a what?
Charlie Hustle. Charlie Hustle gave me an autograph, man.
Okay, good. All right, Tanner. We don't need to look at
Wait,
pictures of Charlie horses.
Did I miss something? Did I say something I didn't mean to say?
No, I think you said whatever you said.
I thought you
All right.
said something as well.
All right, guys. Well, are you looking at pictures, or can we jump on to Royals talk for a few minutes?
I do got one pic.
Are you going to show the people of the
Oh,
world?
here it is. I am.
You're gonna put-
the world. You can see it yourself up there, Mike.
Oh, what the hell?
Do you see that right there?
Yeah. I mean, I okay. I get what it is. I mean, I
Oh,
know
there
what
is,
it is,
dude.
but
There it
I
is.
mean,
It's
look
Charlie
at
horse.
that right there. That's some people
Yeah.
live with that
Well,
consistently.
I think the way to prevent that is don't work your muscles. Have no leg muscles at all, and then you're good. You don't have to worry
That's
about it.
actually a good point.
just
I
don't
didn't-
do leg day.
If you just don't have leg muscles, then you're not going to get a Charlie horse.
I did not work my muscles for almost 10 years, and I never had a Charlie horse until
Right.
I started working my muscles. As
So?
you guys know, I've been working my balls off in the gym,
Yeah.
including lower
Now-
body.
now it's a problem,
and that's when it came back.
So working your legs is unhealthy, obviously. It's not worth it.
Awful, man.
But definitely, it's going to help me to continue to drink these non-alcoholic beers and stay hydrated.
Yeah.
Whatever you say.
Lime NA.
Yep.
Whatever you
Gatorade.
say.
All right, well, guys, let's chit chat about the Royals for a few minutes at least. Since you guys last spoke, the season's underway. We're now 11 games into the season. Things are looking interesting, in my opinion, because I feel like this is a team that just a few tweaks can be pretty decent. At the same time, they have a lot of the same issues that they had a year ago, in my opinion. So the way I see it now, man, I'm pretty happy with the pitching rotation. I really think
I don't
that
hate it.
the group that they got, but between obviously, right now we got Lugo pitching on the mound, of course. He just had 102 pitches. Probably time for him to be pulled out. We got Michael Wacha out there doing all right. I like Michael Lorenzen quite a bit. I think he's great. And then Bubic
Bubic has been looking great.
really good first couple games. And that's not even to talk about Cole Reagans, who is an absolute stud out there. So, man, what are your guys' initial thoughts on where the Royals are at currently just a week into the season, 2 weeks?
I know there was a lot of people that wanted to write them off after they went on that short little losing streak there. But for me right now, I mean, it's all about the pitching staff. And the bottom line for me is that we have the pitching to win this division this year. There's no doubt about it in my mind. And I think at the beginning of the year when we were all talking about expectations, I think that everybody was just like, well, we're not going to win the World Series, probably not going to win a playoff series. But if we could just win the division, that would be a success. And I think that this pitching rotation that we have right now, that's possible. And it's just the offensive production is lacking right now. And so when you throw that into the mix, I don't know what's going to happen. Obviously, we talked about Mark Canha earlier in the year, and he did fine, there for a while, but now he's injured. And so I don't know if we're going to have the depth on this team, and I don't know if we're going to have the bats by the end of the season, but I love what we're doing in terms of pitching right now.
See, by the end of the season, that's where I think things could be different. Just because we currently have a monster in Double-A who could be called up here just in a couple months, maybe. Jack Caglianone, starting off pretty hot, man. He's already got 2 home runs, 10 RBIs, batting .400 within just a few games. So, I mean, I think it's time to get him moved up the ladder.
Gotta bring him
Moon
up.
shots.
Quick as possible. If we got guys like MJ Melendez and Hunter Renfroe on this team right now, kind of wasting space, because you're bad at the outfield, you're also bad at hitting. Can't do anything right. I mean, why not bring up Jack Caglianone?
Yeah, you probably won't see him until June, is my guess.
Yeah, I'm
in this
thinking
one.
middle to late June as well.
Yeah, that's kind of my guess, but I think we will see him this year for sure.
Oh, yeah.
At some point. Look, we got the Twins right now, right? We have 4 games set with the Twins at Kauffman right now, and we're 2-0. We're losing right now, but at the same time, like, this is a nice series leading into a hell of a road game stretch. And when I say hell of a game road, you got 3 at Cleveland, then you turn around and go at Yankees for 3. And then you have to go still without a break in between any of these series here. Your next day off is until the 21st. You got at Cleveland, at Yankees, at Detroit. That's 3 monster games there already early in the season. That, I mean, these series are going to tell you a lot where we're at currently, and that might be the telltale sign to maybe get Jock up here and get Melendez off, get some different guys for hitting if they don't perform. Because, I mean, going into Colorado and Houston, Tampa at the end of the month here, that might be a little push towards getting a little different shakeup in the lineup.
Yeah, and just getting some more power bats. You know, we look at teams around the league, and the Royals are typically not a team that puts up great home run numbers by any means.
No.
I just think it's great to add the potential of another power bat to the lineup, something we've historically not had a lot of on this organization. But to be able to pair that with what we have right now between Bobby Witt, Salvador Perez, Vinny Pasquantino, and then if you add that Caglianone to the mix as well, I feel like that's a great group right there that can put it over the fence anytime.
Is this wild to you guys? The Royals' last day off was April 3rd. They don't have another day off till the 21st. They have 3 days off this month.
You don't get a day off in baseball, man.
Yeah,
They're
I don't
everyday
know.
players. They don't care about that
It's
stuff.
no biggie. They rotate guys through and all that. I mean, I don't know. I think it's not a
tough.
biggie.
It will be later on.
It's not like the NBA where you need load management or some fake stuff like that, you know.
No, I think I'd have more of a problem with it if it was on the back half of the season. Like if we were in September and that was happening, I'd have more of a problem with it then. So I don't know what the schedule looks like, but just saying, I think.
Don't worry, September we get 4 days off. So
All right, one extra day to get ready, I guess. So that's fine.
I will say this to add to my previous comment.
oh, never mind.
Like
3 days off.
We've got the pitching staff to make it to win the division, but we also have to have Vinny hit better than 179. Like
Oh, yeah.
that
There's
must
still
happen.
guys to step up.
So I'm not gonna hang my hat on the pitching rotation and that's it. Like Vinny actually has to show up this year in a real way.
Yeah. The one thing Vinny's got to work on for himself is the idea that all he does is pull the ball when he's hitting. And if he could work a little more on the opposite field, then I think that would do wonders for him. I see him kind of just strictly a pull hitter, and he's got some good power, of course, but I think if he can get better at working all fields, then he'll make it a lot further.
Put him in the right situations right now. He's leading the team with 10 rubies, and Mikael Garcia has 6, and Mikael Garcia is leading our team in home runs.
Yeah, Garcia's done a really good job.
And he's leading our team in batting average.
Hey, see that's 308 or something right now, but. Garcia's had an
306,
awesome advancement this past year because he was not a good leadoff hitter last year at all. And I think, I think at this point we've seen him. He's changed his batting stance a little bit. I think he looks pretty good. So Garcia's making me happy at this point.
What's going on with MJ right now, Mike? Like, what ultimately do you think is going to happen to him? Because he's having some struggles right now.
Well, I think it's you got to eliminate the poor play. But basically, you can't be putting him out there at this point when you're batting basically 100. And you're 1 for 10 as your average, and that we can't keep that on this roster. So to me, MJ, this is his last chance. He's been on this team now for a few years, hasn't gotten any better. So I just kind of think he is what he is, and I think it's time for somebody else to step in.
And I think that everyone would agree, if you're a Royals fan, that he's on a short leash. But how short is that leash? Are we going to let this thing ride for another 2 weeks, another 2 months? Like, what number do we put on that?
Well, he's not playing today, but I would say you got like 2 weeks left of this crap. And then if it's still continuing, then like he's got to be sent down no matter what. And I don't care if Jack Caglianone doesn't play the outfield or hasn't played the outfield much at all in his career to this point. He's 21. I think you can figure it out, and we can get him out there and just put him in a spot. Just get him out there to where he's a bat in the lineup. We're gonna give up, not that Melendez is anything special in the outfield anyway defensively, but I'm okay with having that be something to be concerned about with Jack Caglianone if it means we got a bat in there that can hit better than 100. I mean, that's pretty pathetic.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I'm a little bit sad about him because he was one of my favorite players when he first came up. I really had high hopes for him.
Well, they thought he was going to replace Perez one day.
It's just not happening, and so it's very frustrating for me, and just as a personal MJ fan from the beginning. I
don't exactly know why they took him off from catcher, but even Freddie Fermin has been better than anything that Melendez has done. So I don't really get what happened there as far as that position, because the idea was that Perez was going to get older, Melendez was going to replace him as the everyday catcher at some
Maybe
point.
you just
solved
you may have just solved the problem right there. If you put him at his normal position at catcher, maybe he could play better as a hitter.
Maybe there's something I don't know about though with the catcher situation, because that just never panned out.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. But it's kind of a sad case at this point. It's not getting any better.
The simulator or pipeline reporter projected that Caglianone comes up, debuts in the second half of the season if it succeeds, which
July?
he is doing right now. And that is, and Scott kind of nailed it too. That's also part of the way the MLB rules work to get the extra year out of him for it too. So,
wait till July or something?
Yeah, basically late June.
You don't want to bring him up too. You don't want to bring him up too early, because then he'll end up like Johnny Manziel or something like that.
Well, I don't know if that's the same situation.
Well, they brought him up too early.
I mean, we've had.
I don't know if that's the same thing.
We've had Melendez since 2022, right? As an actual starter for this Royals team, and you're still sitting here as a career batting average of 219.
That's pretty bad.
It was time to separate last year at 206. It was time to separate at 235 the year before. It's time to go, guys. It's time to make that change. I understand you've been working a lot. I know that coaches love the kid, but like you're probably not going to send him down. You're probably just going to option him, and then if he clears waivers, then you can get him in the minors again. But it's not good look, guys. It's not good. I can tell you that much.
I'm kind of over it, and I know he worked on changing his batting stance and swing a little bit this offseason, but that's clearly not working either, because at least one thing Melendez could do last year was an every once in a while surprise you with a home run. They would just always, it was sometimes impactful. There was one game last year particularly that he won the game at the very end, like off of his home run. And now his stance, like he's not hitting the ball in the air.
Look,
it's not going anywhere good.
Mike, a blind squirrel finds a nut someday.
Sure.
That was a blind squirrel that day, finding his nut.
He's got to find a new job, doing something else. There's an opening at my position in St. Louis if he wants. I can get him on board with my company, and get him hooked up with a new job if he wants.
So yeah, now look, right now I'm not too concerned about how things are. We got a hell of a stretch coming up here. I'll be really more interested to see how we handle this road stretch coming up. Because, again, those are all playoff-capable teams, especially with Cleveland, especially with the Yankees and Detroit there, all on the road. So I really want to see where we handle this here. I think our pitching is in a good spot, luckily for us, but can our bats catch up to speed? That's the ultimate deal.
And that's where we're going to be for a bit. Now, one more question. Do you guys trust the situation right now with the relief/closer going on? I'm a big fan of Urseg. Typically, last year he had one. I can't remember exactly what all happened, but he had one dumbass situation. Got somebody hurt. Got Pasquantino hurt. that was a total brain fart on Urseg's part during that
That doesn't
situation.
happen
But
every day. Yeah.
Urseg's a very good pitcher who, and I think Estevez, the closer, has done a pretty good job to this point. But
Yeah.
you guys happy with the current situation as a relief/closing
I'm good with
duo?
it. I'm good with it.
All right.
As of right now.
I'm totally fine with it. I love Urseg right now.
As of right now, I'm happy with what we're doing. So
All right. Well, we'll see if anything changes. Hopefully
But
the Royals can come
again-
back down 2-0 now.
again, situation could change here in a couple weeks. So,
What's a bigger surprise to you? The fact that MJ is 26 years old and hasn't panned out, or the fact that Kevin Biggio is 30 and still hasn't panned out? What's the bigger surprise to you? For me, it's Kevin Biggio. Like, the dude he's turning 30 years old this month, and I'm like, he was supposed to be better than that, dude.
you got a coin?
They've kept him around the league for his name. That's all it comes down
You
to.
got a coin?
Sure.
Well,
Do
you
wanna
did have
flip
one.
a-
It was
you want to
stuck-
flip a
flip
coin?
it.
It was stuck
And
to
it's
that
my
notebook.
answer.
It was stuck
So
to that
you're
notebook.
telling me that one of those two players is still going to pan out?
No. I'm
Okay.
saying they're both shitty and it don't
They're
matter.
both.
It's
Really?
It's awful.
They're both that bad, huh?
Yeah, like it don't. Neither are surprising to me.
Yeah.
Like we saw what Biggio was up in Toronto. He wasn't gonna be nothing spectacular leaving to a new
He's
team.
a wannabe.
And MJ Melendez is just getting that Royals home treatment from good old management and coaching.
Yeah.
The whole reason he's sticking around. So no, it's flip a coin. You can say which one would be your surprise, whoever's heads or tails, and you can call it good. Like I'm not surprised at all in either one.
Yeah, to me, Kevin Biggio is just a wannabe, whereas MJ is just like, he's kind of on the edge there of being a wannabe, but, he's still plugging away.
He's still a wannabe,
Yeah.
a big wannabe right now.
Well, he's in the rotation anyway, so yeah. I guess he can relieve a guy every once in a while. That's the right way to put it.
Yeah,
He's playing first base today, so while Vinny plays DH. So I don't know. Maybe he's good for something, but not a lot.
yeah.
He's
Scott,
good. He might be good for AAA.
Scott
pretty
Cove
soon.
is right. The biggest surprise is Bubic, 2-0. Bubic.
Yeah, and he's
Bubic.
pitched really well. Yeah, Bubic finally looking good. Well, the thing is, Bubic, a few years ago, I mean, we had high hopes for him to be a good player, and it was not looking good. I mean, he was out there
Well,
struggling.
between him and Salvador Perez, they're the highest seniority on this team. Bubic has been
Daniel
around
Lynch
for
was there,
several
too.
years.
Oh yeah, Lynch has been here since 2020. I believe.
He's definitely doing better in the bullpen this time around.
Yeah, well, Lynch is meant for the bullpen, not as a starter, because they tried him as a starter and that failed. So
Yeah, that's how he came out of college, and then the old regime did not do well with him. So
but Bubic is a number. Think about it. He's our number 4 or 5 starting pitcher.
he's our 4.
That's
Pretty awesome.
And
man.
Lorenzen is a good number 5. That's a good
Oh,
rotation.
sorry, flip him.
But Lorenzen's 5.
Yeah,
Or
or
Bubic is 5.
Bubic was 5.
Lorenzen's 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's a good guy on the back end right there. That's
Yeah.
good.
No, I'm good with it. I'm good with what we got there. So
All right.
yeah,
Well,
that's why I go for the Royals right now, man. I'm not shocked here. If you guys really want to know, they are 6-5. They're at the last part of the wild card spot. So like, if it ended today for some reason, we'd be in the playoffs. So
I thought they were 5. Are they 6-5 now?
6-5.
So this would be their 12th game right now. Then. Huh?
Yeah.
All right. Well, they're losing 2-0, so might be back to 500.
So that means we would be one differential.
They're
Possibly.
half a game out of. They're half a game out of first place. That's all I care about.
Yeah, it's pretty early, man. We're at the equivalent of one game played in an NFL season.
I like
Put it that way.
Detroit looks good, man.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, do you guys want to jump over to some basketball talk for a few before we do the NFL draft at the back end?
Yeah, Tanner, you want to start out with NCAA, or where are we going with this?
I mean, we can chat a little bit if you guys want about the title game.
I
curious,
know. I know
didn't-
you're dying.
I didn't
talk
get to
about
watch it, as a matter of fact. So I
I've already
missed,
talked about it.
I missed
a bunch,
whatever
man.
happened. So
Give us your spiel. Just give us your
Look,
spiel. of
look.
the
In
championship.
the end, like we had the correct title game in the end. As much as people complain about it, that Duke wasn't in it. Duke hasn't won a close game all year long. Look what they did against Kentucky back in November. They couldn't win that close game. The freshmen showed out. Like it was a freshman style game. There was no seniority. Look what they did against KU 2 weeks later. It was another closer game. Couldn't finish it out. Lost that game as well. The only other loss was Clemson, but they weren't healthy then. They were missing a couple guys. So this was their first healthy loss since KU lost in November for Duke. And I mean, it wasn't surprising to see Houston turn it on. Houston's done this multiple times all season with their defense, and then they got to go play Florida. Number 3 in defensive efficiency according to KenPom versus number 2 in defensive efficiency or number 1, defensive efficiency in KenPom was Houston. Number 9 in defensive efficiency was Florida. But if you look as an overall whole in efficiency, you had 2 at Houston, 3 at Florida. Number 1 was Duke. So you had 2 of the top 3 teams in the title game. Exactly what we all wanted, I think, in the end. And if you watch the game there, Houston played their ball pretty much almost to the entire game except the last, 8 minutes? And Scott could probably quote me there on time range, but 8 minutes there. And that's when you saw Florida had to change their style. The adjustments in coaching that had to come into play. They were down 12 after a horrendous start in the second half for Florida. And they had to change it. They had to go back to a more defensive set style team to contest there with Houston. Houston was not expecting it, and it showed in the end that they couldn't score at anything. But Florida in the end, guys, did exactly what they needed to do, and that was protect from any 3-pointers, but also make sure they don't shove it inside. And they had the guys to be able to do that. And you saw it at the end when the guy went to go shoot, and there was a big old giant in front of his face, and he drops it, and you can't touch it if you drop it because it'd be a violation. And so he was trying to block off so his teammate can get there. Florida ended up diving for it. Game over, guys. He should have led it. I think he just should have led it up and see what happened.
The Duke only have 2 points scored in the last 10 minutes of the game.
It was more than 2, but it was there was a 5-minute over a 5-minute stretch. They didn't score anything.
Right.
And then the final 3 minutes, they scored 1 point.
Yeah.
And they had opportunities. There was a tech. We're talking 30 seconds left. There was a tech in the inbounds ball. The guy slaps it out of his hands. I think he was confused about the play. Duke went to go shoot it, couldn't execute the free shots. They execute those free throws. Duke is probably in the championship. And I told Scott this too, that Duke, oh my God, Flynn Eastwood, let's be real. Duke, in the end, if they were in that championship game, they blow out Florida. They crush Florida. Playing like they do. They really do.
I'm not buying that.
If they don't go on that streak, they crush Florida.
That's too many what ifs. I'm not buying that.
So, but no, this Houston-Florida game was spectacular. It was such a great title game in the end. And both teams, they played their hearts out. And there was great coaching on both sides. It just came down to who could time. Where the seconds were. So
I thought it was interesting. The last 3 games were all comebacks. So Auburn was up and they lost, and then Florida had their comeback, of course, against Duke. But then Houston had their comeback as well. So all these games were comebacks, and so it was interesting to see all that unfold. Because I was frustrated. I had Auburn to win the title, and then to see them, they were up at halftime.
Yeah,
and they
were up.
Could be the refs. We talked about that earlier. Could be the refs. The refs like comebacks too. Fans like comebacks, and refs like comebacks too.
Refs
do you think
it's
rigged?
No,
not in this particular case.
If Houston would have won, there probably would have been talks about it, just the way the second half started and all the fouls against Florida. But it ain't rigged. Flint Eastwood said Nebraska won the Crown Championship. That's all he guys. That's what he said. So
Crown Championship.
All right, so stupid. College basketball has the NIT tournament. This year, they debuted a new tournament for the big power conferences. So there's 12 teams that don't make the tournament, the NCAA tournament, that can go to this Crown Championship. So you're like Big 10, Big 12, SEC, those ACC stuff like that.
That's
right?
stupid.
And
What's the point of that?
There was 12 teams.
Make them feel good
what
about
a waste
themselves.
of time.
12 teams.
Give them all a medal. Every single team, all 300.
And so they did a tournament down. They called it the College Crown
so
or the
dumb.
Crown Championship, College Crown basketball.
I'm sorry,
crown.
I can't shut up long enough to say how stupid
it was,
that is.
the stupidest thing. I was confused at first because I was like, "What is this?" And then I finally looked into it more, and I was like, "Oh my god, you gotta be shitting me right now!"
Just the winner of the
That's
shitty
dumber than a
teams.
box of rocks, man.
No, it's not even the shitty teams. The shitty teams are playing on the other side.
NIT.
These
got NIT.
teams didn't want to play the NIT because they were gonna get beat by the NIT teams. Honestly, they would have.
Wow, that's too bad, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
Basketball seems to be doing that a lot. Like, it seems like NBA's done a little bit of that. I mean,
They're trying something.
it's weird. I
It's
don't
gonna
know.
be, it's money grab.
I
man.
think maybe they might want a little bit of equity in there.
So-
Am I using the right word there, Mike?
So-
Equity?
I mean, that's the thing. Like, it only works if the public allows it to work.
Yeah, I guess.
Like, to me, I see what NBA's done, and I'm like, that's fucking stupid with that
Okay, so
nonsense that they do.
Nebraska.
I can't stand it.
It's funny, right? So,
I won't watch it.
So Nebraska doesn't have a win in the NCAA tournament. They've never won a game inside the NCAA tournament. Okay,
Wow.
Are you serious?
never won.
Too many white
Not
players.
even in the Big Eight? Wow.
They've never
Right.
won the NCAA.
It's too many
a game
whiteys out
inside
there in
the
Nebraska,
NCAA
dude.
tournament. Okay,
That's wild.
But-
That's hard to believe.
But Omaha,
But-
Omaha, Creighton does okay.
yeah, well, Creighton's good. So Nebraska though won an NIT championship, right? That was their big win in a postseason
I love the
play.
NIT.
And now they're the
I love
now they
the
won the
NIT,
crown,
dude.
so they can win these outside of the big game tournaments apparently, but they can't win a freaking single game inside NCAA actual
But
tournaments.
dude, if you're a traditionalist, you love the NIT tournament, dude, because it's always been there. And you
No,
could,
it's good.
You could call it the tournament of losers if you want, but
The
you
toilet bowl.
still.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always thought you're going to be one of two teams in the NCAA that ends your season on a win.
On a win,
And you're
yes.
only two teams that can say that. And I have no problem with the NIT. I love the NIT.
This whole crown thing just blows my mind. So, but yeah, that's right. Sorry, thank you, AC. I forgot to mention the prize. So they do get Nebraska won $500,000 of NIL money. So it was for NIL money the winner got. I'm pretty sure it was $1 million, Scott. But is it $500,000? That might be half.
Ooh, that's a good walkout. That's a good walkout song.
A milli.
You play that at the end, Tanner.
Shit.
That's a good walk-up song, dude.
Oh boy. Yeah, that's what you're into, I guess.
So, but yeah, no, that's kind of the way. And if for those out there too that bet on it and did some things, UConn women were the number 2 seed. They ended up crushing the entire tournament. They covered the spread on every single game, including the title game.
Did they cheat?
Easy. They did not.
Did they
cheat.
have any men on the team?
They did not.
They had
They
no
did
men,
not.
no men
They did
playing,
not.
so
Nope.
that's good.
Nope.
That's
Nope.
progress.
Nope. None
They
of
don't
that.
have any
None of
men
that.
playing on the women's team.
Their first round spread was 44.5, and they covered by they won by 60. Okay, so like UConn as a 2 seed was a slap in the face, and they faced the second overall number 1 seed at South Carolina on the other side, and it was supposed to be a close game. Supposed to be, right? It was a blowout. It wasn't even close. So UConn, Gino, the head coach, I think you guys have heard his name before.
Gino? I thought he retired. Did he not
He's
retire?
still there.
Wow.
UConn just won their 12th. And UConn women and men combined in title games are, I think it's 15-1. 15-1 as a school on both sides. So it's pretty impressive. But yeah, that was pretty cool. But yeah, that's kind of the recap of the NCAA season tournaments and all that jazz. So
That was very long and painful. But
there was a lot going on
It
during,
was more.
during that time.
It
man.
was much more painful for us KU fans than it is everybody else. But
I always like March Madness.
thank you for that
but
update, Tanner.
Yeah.
March Madness is always fun, but yeah, those last couple games take forever because there's such a gap in between them. You go from playing all these games at once to all of a sudden it's like, oh, we got to take 3 days in between all these games, and I'm like, then I lose interest.
What do you mean 3 days? Like from this Elite
once you
Eight
get to the Elite Eight to the Final
Four?
Four and all
Yeah,
that.
the normal break. It's a
I
normal
know.
break.
I love the chaos though. The first few days
Yeah.
where it's like constant. But
Oh yeah, no, yeah, all those games. Then you get down to the field.
yeah, and then I lose interest after that because not like my team's in there.
That's
Scott,
like
Scott says, "Come on, JG, we don't cheat at UConn. It was all about page buckets, and that's correct."
well, you're right. They don't cheat because they haven't put any men on the team yet.
Hey, you don't know, man. I mean, at this point, anything could happen. So, it's, I don't know if they would announce that if it was actually any.
Scott has changed his name to officially change to Mr. Buckets.
Mr. Buckets?
Mr. Buckets.
Yeah. Scott, we're gonna have a talk later.
Does that make him related to Jimmy Buckets? Are they related?
That is not related.
Scott and I need to revamp the NBA show here pretty soon.
Yeah.
I feel like it's coming.
I think you do.
It's got to be coming, man.
You guys used to love
Jimmy
Buckets. Now you don't like him anymore.
We won't call HR in this one. So
Shoot. Just don't say you people.
Mr. Brackets. That's better. Scott did win both the brackets that I was in.
That's a little better. Yeah, I like that.
Well done, man.
That should be like the name of a cornerback one day, like as a like a lockdown corner, you know?
Yeah.
Somebody out there, Mr.
That
Brackets.
yes.
Tanner, I got bugs on my screen.
What do you guys think?
There's moths flying around in this place.
Well, Jason can close the door real quick.
Well, the good news is I don't know if the audience has heard this before, but I'm going to break the news, Tanner, that you're finally moving out of your mom's basement.
That's right.
He's finally moving out of his mom's basement in June. So for the first time,
as long as everything goes well, guys, moving out in June.
Great things happen when you're 40. I can tell you that. Great things happen before you turn 40, and one of those things can be you move out of your mom's basement.
Yeah, that's great. I'm excited, man, to see you live on your own for the first time.
By the way, I'm gonna go with Murder Hornet. I was learning. I learned a lot over this past weekend. I learned a lot about murder hornets. And the fact that was a big show a few years back.
Well, after COVID,
when you come out with that name, murder hornets, people automatically think that it has to do with humans. It had nothing to do with humans. It's the fact that they would kill 30 bees per minute.
Yeah, correct.
So they were murder hornets, but they weren't murdering human beings. They were murdering bees.
But dude, the
but
news
it was
at
like
the time,
this big, like
all they wanted to do is scare people.
Yeah,
at all times.
they're coming to your house to kill you, and so that's a good lesson in terms of people that like to listen to the media, shall we say?
That's why you should wear a mask. So.
Yeah, you can close that door so no more bugs get in.
Oh,
That's
true. He's tired of the bugs finally.
If I wore a mask, they couldn't bite me in the mouth or the nose. So
I ain't worried about you.
nice.
They leave me alone. I just hate spiders.
Do you guys have any masks left that I could put on while he's flying around? Because I might feel a little bit safer.
Tanner, do you have any masks? You didn't keep any souvenirs over the years of masks?
I just threw away one the other day.
That guy looks angry. That whatever was flying around here,
he's harmless.
He looked very angry, and I think that I would feel safe and effective if I had that damn mask
he's
on,
harmless.
man.
There you go. Yep.
Can somebody find it for me?
Well, there's a bunch of bugs in here, man. He's probably trying to eat some of the bugs that are in here.
Probably shut the door so we don't get any more bugs.
It's your house, man. Is that really my responsibility?
Yes, it is. There's a cables in there.
I mean, actually, he's got to yell for his mom to shut the door, but we don't need to wake her
up. You can't even get through.
Don't disturb. She's watching her TV shows, all right?
I mean, I can bend over in front of the camera.
Whatever it is, this does not feel safe and effective right now. So,
all right.
I'm saying.
Well, do you guys have anything on the NBA, or can we jump over to the draft?
No.
We love the NBA, man.
Let's talk a little NBA.
We love the NBA.
All right. Well, what's going on, man? Because I know the Suns are
there he is.
probably
right next
out.
to Jason now.
It's a June bug, man. It's a June bug.
It's already here. Look at that guy.
So so the Suns are looking like they're out. Not that I care anymore about that part, but why the hell did Denver fire their coach? I don't understand what's going on there.
So
it's a tough situation.
Possible drama going into play, right? So there's allegedly reports out there from a couple sources that Malone and the GM weren't even talking, and they were upset that the way the lineup was used for certain situations, right? Russell Westbrook may not be getting enough playing time for what he should have. Stuff like that, right? And so I think it turned into, as I said yesterday, it sounded more like a high school squabble. And the owner said, "We have the two best players on our roster still. We don't need this drama, and we're going to can both of you guys, and we're going to let you go." And that could possibly be it.
Yeah, but wasn't the drama coming from the players themselves?
They might have said confused why it was happening. I don't look. Usually I blame the players and stuff here. This didn't sound like anything like a player issue. This wasn't a Joker issue. This wasn't a Murray issue.
All right, man.
I feel like it's a situation where the Nuggets were reeling so bad that they had to get an early jump start on this because the whole world knows that they were not going to beat the Thunder in a 7-game series, and that wouldn't matter. You know, the Nuggets were reeling, could have been in the 8th seed. It's still possible that the Nuggets could be the 8th seed and the Thunder could be the 1. And you could end up playing them in the first round.
Yeah.
I don't care if they're playing the first round or the Western Conference Finals. They had no chance this year at beating the Thunder. Everybody freaking knows it. And so if you've got some issues between your coach and your GM, it's better to get rid of them now than to wait until the offseason because, you know, you might get lucky. You bring in an interim coach and you might actually make a run in the playoffs. That's the worst thing that could happen. So, I mean, it's just they weren't going to do anything this year anyway, so I had no problem with the move. I think most of the time I would hate the move, but it's one of those unique situations where it's just like, okay, yeah,
I mean,
if you got to go, you got to go. Just get them out sooner rather than later.
Sure. You know, coaches can be a big deal at certain situations, right? But to me, you have pretty much the same roster you've had for a while. You've got guys that prospered, Christian Brown being one. And I was texting Scott the other day, and he mentioned the question like, hey, you know, look for Denver to be an early round exit. And I'm like, is Joker still playing on that team? Is Jamal Murray still there? Do they have Russell Westbrook? Yes. Okay. Well, I'm not concerned. And do I think anybody in the West is going to be able to, you know, take over the entire West and actually blow people out? No, I don't think that because it's playoff ball. They all play different, right? I know Oklahoma City has been dominant all year long, but I don't feel we've seen Oklahoma City in the playoffs too last year, and they were not impressive. I mean, they could be different. Chet's back. We'll see what happens, but in the end, do you have Joker still? Do you have the best player in the league? Yes. Okay, you're fine. God damn, dude.
This computer started yelling. I don't know why. It's weird.
I'm not concerned what the players have there with Denver. It's really odd. I don't necessarily think it shakes anything up, though.
Yeah, I think it's good to get them out of the picture. Denver has been playing at a high level for a long time, and I think at some point you're going to get burnout when you have the same coach, the same GM, the same top 2 star players. I mean, my gosh, Jamal Murray has been around
how's that going for Kansas City
now, dude.
That's silly. That's silly talk. How's that going for Kansas City?
The Chiefs?
Yeah. Top 2 players.
I have no problem with the
Chiefs.
Chiefs.
Same coach, same GM.
I have no problem with Chiefs. I'm just saying the NBA.
That's what Denver was trying to strive for.
In the NBA, you got to get more than one. What do they get? They get one championship?
They had one championship, but they made the playoffs.
So I feel like that's I feel like that's very difficult to compare them to the Chiefs when you only have one ring.
But you
and
just
you're
mentioned
reeling
the same thing.
But you're reeling at the end of the season. You're 18 games back out of first.
Yeah, that's fine. Again, we've seen Joker not need to be first place.
I'm just telling you, there's something going on between the front office, the coaching staff.
Well, yeah,
everybody.
and that's why they got canned.
And I think that there's some sort of burnout. That would be my thing right now is that people are getting burned out. The players are getting tired of front office and vice versa. And, like, that's your best chance is to make a move right now. And most likely the Nuggets aren't going to do anything this year. But at least to get a shot at it by having an interim coach.
I don't know, man. We'll talk about that a little later here. Around it.
I don't know, man. I think Jamal Murray is on the cusp of being washed.
Which is crazy because it was literally 2 years ago. The guy was phenomenal.
He doesn't play. He's been hurt in and out. So, like, they've been really benching him a lot more.
But at some point, if you're a small player, a small guard in the NBA, you're going to be washed sooner rather than later. And the dude's been around forever. So Joker's going to play. I feel like he's going to play forever. Whereas Jamal,
doesn't it?
whereas, like, I'm just talking about the two guys. Like, whereas Jamal Murray, he's been around forever, and he's on the cusp of being washed. That's not because I'm an anti-Jamal Murray guy. I've always loved Jamal Murray, but he's been banged up early in his career, and now he's old, man. Like, he's older than you think. if you're a small guard, you get older a lot faster than the larger players like Nikola Jokic.
Maybe that's the difference on that team, though. I mean, a couple of years ago when they won the championship, Murray was playing at his peak. And, we don't have him anymore playing at that level. But the other pieces around there seem to be the same guys.
I don't know. I can't say that I would have pulled the trigger on this deal, but I don't know what was going on between the coach and the GM.
How old do you think Jamal Murray is?
I think he's like 31.
How old do you think he is?
I'd go 30.
He's 27, dude.
Oh, okay. Well,
He started in the NBA when he was 19. He got hurt for a whole year in 21-22, right? With the ACL at the time. But this year too, he's played 65 games.
He's going to be washed faster than you think, man.
I don't know, man.
there's got to be more to it than that.
He's shooting 40% from three still. He's still doing.
I just,
things
like
he
I
needs to
said,
do.
I don't know. I would applaud the owner for making this move because I don't know if I could have pulled the trigger on that just because of what they accomplished. But I think he did the right thing because they need to shake things up in that organization.
All right. If you say so.
I'm looking here. I'm just curious.
So what about the rest of what's going on here? I mean, is OKC still your top dog? And then, of course, the Cavaliers. I mean, are we a big believer in what's going on there? I mean, they've had a really good defense over the past few years, but now it's almost like the offense has finally gotten it moving to where it's just as good. So, I mean, is that your top dog in the East at this point? Is Cavs?
No.
Still Boston then?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the Cavs right now are kind of like they remind me of OKC last year, where
Yes.
they're a super elite team that just hasn't been down the road yet of being a champion, and you've got to experience a big loss, and they're just not quite there yet. So I think Oklahoma City, on the other hand, they've already experienced the big loss, and I think they're going to make a step up this year. But yeah, Cleveland, I think they're still a year away, and honestly, like Donovan Mitchell. He's getting a little bit older, but I think they're going to be a major player next year.
That guy has no issue at all, man. He's Donovan Mitchell's superstar, big time. Like that guy.
No, I mean it's everybody knows. Everybody knows. We don't think we know the Celtics are going to win the East. Like,
yeah, I mean Celtics. So you see Cleveland at top, but that doesn't tell the whole story, right? Tatum's been hurt the last few times. They're getting a lot of rest in these last 2 weeks here too. Jaylen Brown's been out. Porzingis has been out. So you're rolling with at times too Derek White and Pritchard as your backcourt. And it's like, what are you doing? But that's what
Kevin Pritchard, is that who we're talking about?
No, Peyton Pritchard.
Oh, that's his son. Yeah,
so,
showing my age a little bit.
Just a tad there. But like Boston's been resting guys, so don't look too deep into this 59-21 record versus 63-16.
It doesn't matter.
Like it's all part of strategy when it comes to playoff time too. Instead of now possibly getting an Orlando or Atlanta, you're gonna get one of those guys, but you don't have to worry about it until that next round. So, I think Boston is for the favorite. I think by far they're the favorite, and they're probably the scariest one in the East in the end.
All right. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think that Boston is probably the best team in the East as well, especially they're the defending champions.
Loaded. They're loaded.
Yeah.
You got Porzingis down low.
When they can
Tatum
turn it
Brown.
on, it's the same team as last year.
Yeah.
When they could turn it on, I mean, they're just unstoppable when they're on fire.
And they got such great depth on their team. Like
I do think OKC this year looks a little more well-rounded than the year before. So I definitely think that'll be an interesting matchup if that's what it comes down to.
They're definitely bigger, and they got as Jason loves too. They got a little bit more defense with them too.
You guys care at all about the play-in crap?
No,
I do.
Well,
we
care
a lot about
but
it. It's only because Ja Morant is a big story right now.
Yeah.
And what happened with him, and I thought they might try to suspend him when he made a certain gesture on the court the other night because of his history, but they didn't. I guess they only fined him, like $75,000 or something like that, Tanner. I think the Grizzlies are a great team right now. And I think if they can figure out a way to avoid that number 8 seed and get into the 7 spot, that will be the first game on my radar If they match up against Houston and it's Houston versus Grizzlies, that's a great matchup to watch because Ja Morant, although he hasn't had his best season, actually this by his standards has been a pretty below average season. But if you look at his stats over the last month, he's averaging 30, 5, and 7 on 55% field goal percentage. Now, those are amazing stats for Ja Morant, but I also think that the Grizzlies are a great team, just like the Houston Rockets. I think the Houston Rockets are loaded with guys that score and play defense. The Grizzlies score and play defense. I can go through the stats all day long. I'm not going to, but that would be an amazing matchup that I would love to watch. And I think that a lot of people want to write the Grizzlies off right now because of Ja Morant. You know, everybody likes to call him a thug. I saw what he done on the court. That was 100% created by the media. Whatever he did with putting his arms out like this was 100% created by the media. He did absolutely nothing wrong.
Go ask the NCAA football
absolutely
about that. Go
nothing
ask the
wrong.
NFL. Go ask anybody else.
But
Any
it's
other sport.
it's because of his history
Yes.
that they want to create something out of nothing.
Yes. NCAA football, right? There's a guy on LSU who got suspended 2 games for doing that, and he got flagged for it. NFL, they've gotten suspended and flagged for it and fined.
That's fine.
We see it across
now in the
sports.
NFL, you can't even wipe your nose.
Now you can't wipe your nose.
I call it, with Ja Morant, I call it targeting. And they are trying to target him for whatever reason.
Well, yeah.
I was
You
like,
did some dumb stuff, dude. You got to know you're being highlighted.
I can stick as long as I'm not, flipping the bird or something like that. Which
No, that should be part of it. You should do that. I would make it into WWE, dude.
As long as you're not flipping the bird,
Give
dude,
him the suck edge.
I can put my arm like this, like that, like this. Do you really think I'm setting a bad example?
This.
I'm not. Okay,
And
so
this.
are we in archery now?
And this.
Does he practice
He was
archery?
doing it as a
You
rifle.
can't do archery
It's
either.
a complete joke, man.
This guy was doing stuff that he shouldn't be doing.
This is a fabricated joke, only done by ESPN. Nobody else. That's it.
But you can't
And nobody
pretend to pull
else
your
cares.
pants down. Remember Randy Moss pretended to pull his pants
Oh,
down?
yeah.
That was a disgusting act.
See, that should be allowed.
And now he's throwing grenades in the crowd. So
I give the Grizzlies a chance.
I don't know what's better yet.
I will tell you this. I give Memphis a chance because of the way Ja Morant is playing right now. And I'm dying.
I'll give him a chance.
I'm dying for that matchup because obviously we all like Ime Udoka as a coach
Yes.
because he's a guy that likes to do a few things here and there.
He likes strip clubs, dude.
yeah.
He should just be doing this all the time.
That's why he's down in Houston now.
Yeah. Oh, he loves the strip clubs,
You know,
man.
back where Harden, knew all the spots. So.
Oh, I'm sure there's plenty of them out there.
No, look, Memphis. I think Memphis. They're going to be all good teams. So this whole set here, that they're all tied. They're all 47-32. Clip, Denver, Golden State, Memphis. These guys are all possible contenders, easy, no matter where they land. And you can say OKC all day long as being the favorite. I don't think there's a clear favorite in the West. I don't. I think any of those teams at any time in the top 7, not 8, 7, actually 8. If Minnesota wins this, I'll do top 8 with you. I think they could beat each other in a 3, 5, 7 game series all day long. I really do.
I think it's
I think
OKC.
the West is more even than what we see in the East.
I think it's OKC and everybody else. I think we need to see a significant injury for OKC for them not to win the West.
I don't
just
think
based
so.
on what happened last year, and like they've already been down that road. And
Take
for
Shea
me-
away, it's over, man.
Oh, sure, yeah, absolutely.
And I'm not saying away. Like, the guy can still score 30, but you take away his assists and rebounds, and you have a different ball game there.
Lakers are looking pretty good. What do you think about the
Lakers,
Lakers
for
there, Tanner?
Lakers have continued to show up, and they continue to prosper.
Is LeBron washed? Is he fully washed yet, or
No,
give him a
I
chance?
think
this
I think he's settled into a role where he needs to be, and that's not be the guy. He doesn't have to be the guy in the Lakers uniform this year or at all. That's what they have Luka for. Luka's now continuing to be that guy that goes out and throws in 30, 40 points, a game and be able to run that whole team. And they complement each other so well. I did not anticipate them to actually complement each other the way they do. And LeBron gets to where he needs to be. Like, they both actually look like they're playing hard. It just works out for the Lakers. It really does.
I tell you what, as bad as I want to see Grizzlies versus Rockets, equally as bad, I want to see the Lakers in the first round against Denver again.
Yes.
Because the Denver Nuggets, it does not matter who the coach is. I can step in right now as the head coach. Denver Nuggets will throttle the Lakers because they
got
own
Joker? Yeah, okay.
They
That's all
own
you
the
need.
Lakers, dude. So you can throw Luka in there, and you can put me. I'll be the coach of the Nuggets. I don't care. They have the Lakers number, and they always will. And
Yes.
in the current format. So
Yeah, I think I don't know. I think the Lakers still have an uphill battle. The Clippers still have an uphill battle, but like,
Clippers are washed, man.
hey, man, when they're
Everybody in the world knows they're washed.
Hey, they're 8-2 and they're still fighting out here, guys. They're still fighting out here, and it's actually pretty impressive there. So, and the last 10, but
The one thing I promise you with the
I'm
Clippers,
happy with what the West has.
One thing I'll promise you with the Clippers is that somebody will injure their cock in the first or second round, and they're done.
You're probably right.
Like that's
You're probably right.
You can take that to the bank. I don't care if it's Kawhi or James Harden, somebody, and they're done.
Yeah, you're probably right.
That's the one team that I do not take seriously.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair on that one. The East, we don't really care about the East. So
Nah, the East.
Yeah, the East is
East is kind of boring, actually.
Yeah,
but
I think a lot of people would say that we want to see the Knicks. We want to see the Knicks because we like the big market teams.
the Knicks are going to go to the same place as last year. They're going to finish in the same spot as a year ago.
The Knicks have really great players, but the problem with the Knicks is they don't play defense at all. And so I don't care if you have Cat. I don't care if you have Brunson, who the hell you have. Mikal Bridges, who I love. This guy over here loves him some Mikal Bridges over the years.
He's all right.
When you don't play defense, you're probably getting knocked out in the first round.
Yep.
That's what's going to happen.
And that's the issue too. Like whoever gets out of that plan.
And right now,
Could be a bad
guess
matchup.
who it is right now? It's the Pistons. Take it to the bank. Over.
Yeah, it is.
They have no shot against the Pistons, but they're the 3 seed.
I think Milwaukee gets kicked out in the first round too.
I want to see them. I feel sorry for Milwaukee. I hope they go a little bit.
I don't feel
farther than
sorry
that,
for
but
them. Not at all.
I feel sorry for them because they only got 1 ring with Giannis underneath Mike Budenholzer. That's why I feel sorry
Again,
for them.
whose
dude.
fault is that? That's
pretty
Milwaukee's
sad.
fault. So that's all Milwaukee.
That's nobody's fault, man. They
It's
just had
Milwaukee's fault.
They had a perfect storm with a great coach and a great roster. Then they won 1 championship and they fell apart. I don't feel sorry for any of those guys, dude.
I don't feel sorry for anything in Milwaukee. So, but no, that's kind of what we got.
All right. Well, Tanner, I was thinking about this recently, but we almost went to Green Bay this year for the draft.
Yeah.
It was something we at least talked about, about a year ago. I don't know why that's sitting there.
I think we ran out of money, didn't we?
Well, we talked about it like a year ago.
We played
And then
we put too much money down on baccarat and blackjack.
We had
and
the
then
we had the
we ran out of money.
realization that we got to get Tanner way out of town. We got to get him to Vegas, and so we ended up deciding on going to Vegas instead of out to Green Bay
All right.
for the draft. But we've gotten to experience the draft before. We still have our money. We're not totally broke, right?
I find that
I don't
hard
know.
to believe.
I don't know.
I don't think we have a reason as to why that didn't happen, honestly.
Well, I think part of it is there's nothing to do out there. I don't think there's any casinos anywhere nearby. So you would have hated every minute of going out to Green Bay for the draft. So that would have been pretty boring. And Vegas is like a lot better. That's all.
We might have had some prescription drugs going on too when we were trying to make that decision.
Yeah, I just remember it was
Whether or
something
not
we
go
all
out there
we
or
all
not.
talked about. But we experienced the NFL draft in Kansas City, so we already know what it's like, and it needs some work in a lot of ways when you're there in person. I think there's some things they can improve on. So anyone out there listening that is going, I hope they have a good time. I don't know. I'm guessing Nick's not going. Obviously he lives in Missouri.
I don't know the whole crew that's going. I know Sam from Mr. First Down, he's going.
right.
So I know there's still a handful of guys. I just don't know who exactly.
I'd rather
All
go
right.
to Vegas.
Oh,
I'd
yeah.
rather go to Vegas.
That's
I
no
mean,
doubt. That's no doubt. All right, guys. Well, anyways, here in Green Bay, it's going to be interesting to see how they have this set up out there. I think it's going to be on the field in the stadium, I think, or something like that. So,
and you can do whatever because you can smoke in there and everything else like that.
It'll be interesting to see how they have that set up on the TV. But it is in about 2 weeks, but we do have at least one more show before the actual draft goes down. But, guys, it seems like all I've heard about lately is Shedeur Sanders and what teams are interested in him or disinterested or what scouts think. Or some think that, he should be a second-round pick. And to me, it's getting a little old because I'm tired of this wide discrepancy of opinions on Shedeur Sanders. I just think it was overblown to begin with Shedeur Sanders. And there's people that think he should be a top 3 pick. I think they're crazy.
Agreed.
And I'm more in line with some of the people who've watched him play that say he should be like a late first, second-round pick, something around those lines. But I was just kind of looking at the first few picks. We got Abdul Carter possibly going off number 1. Travis Hunter.
Cam Ward will go 1.
Cam Ward, you think go number 1?
Yeah,
okay.
Because they're going to look for the franchise guy and everything, so they need a quarterback.
I guess I just got my list to go off here real quick. But
you're good.
Of course, we got Travis Hunter. I'll be curious where he ends up and where he's used. I mean, is he going to be just a wide receiver or just a corner? Are they going to use him a little bit both? I think it would be nice to sprinkle him in on the other position. Say the Patriots draft him and they want to be a corner.
Mm-hmm.
I think you can sprinkle him in a little bit to be wide receiver from time to time as well.
Yep.
You got Ashton Jainty, of course. We kept track of his rushing yards last year on a week-to-week basis, some of the numbers he was putting up, so looking forward to him. We got Mason Graham from Michigan. He's going to go pretty high, probably top 5 or 6, I'd say.
Yeah.
And Jalen Walker from Georgia. Another Georgia Walker going out pretty early.
Don't forget Abdul Carter from Penn State.
That was my first number 1 guy off the list.
Armand Membo, so from offensive tackle Missouri.
We're going to see quarterbacks get overdrafted a little bit. Not that I have a problem with Cam Ward, but I just think that's the nature of the league at this point.
I think Cam Ward right now, like just based off what we've seen and what we know, is the best quarterback in the league in the draft. Easy, by far.
Yeah, I think so.
Like
he
at least has the most, most potential, right, of the quarterbacks. In Tennessee, drafting at 1, like that's the spot where you got to go that route. You got.
Oh yeah, I mean there's no choice there. I mean you're starting all the way over, so. You just got to take a stab at it. But you never know with the draft. People could trade down.
Correct.
Somebody could say, I want to hold out for Arch Manning, and assuming he goes pro next year, kind of tank in a way, which is something you don't see in the NFL very often, but teams tanking for a future quarterback.
Cleveland.
Well, Cleveland, I feel like they like losing. They're enjoying it. They're good at it.
Dude.
Like, you have to, try to be that bad, as bad as Cleveland's been over the last 25 years. You have to, really work hard at it. So obviously here being around Kansas City for us, so I think we've talked about it a little bit, but now that some things are shaken out and we're getting a picture of who could be available in what position, I'm curious what you guys think. If you have someone in mind or a certain position you think in mind that the Chiefs at this point need to take a stab at, because they have a big hole at defensive tackle right now. I think edge rush needs to be improved somehow. Just the consistency is just not there at the edge position. Felix Anudike-Uzomah, we have no idea if that's going to ever work out or not at this point. And then, of course, the situation, possibly a wide receiver. Why not add more pieces, especially to a crew that has now shown that they have some injury history? So maybe Luther Burden is there, something like that. And then as far as edge goes, could be there around the Chiefs pick. I like James Pierce Jr. from Tennessee. I think that there's just a lot to work with a player like that. And the Chiefs are a team – they did this with Willie Gay a little bit, where he was more of just a great physical prospect who had a great 40 time, strong, athletic. James Pierce is kind of like that same guy as far as that goes, but I think he needs to be molded a little bit with great coaching, and I think he'd end up being a great fit with the team. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Which direction do the Chiefs need to go here in the first round?
For me, it would be.
Well, that was him that time.
Shut up.
That was him that time.
No. Dude, shut the
For me.
We're still clean, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Clean?
That was not an F-bomb.
Well, we already said something else earlier. So.
No, Malachi Starks. Safety for Georgia. I think having that winning attitude guy coming in to work with a guy like Spags, he's aggressive. We've seen him multiple times, and throughout the year, and I think he's a guy that would benefit. I think we do need somebody in that secondary to continue to lead here.
See, if I were going to go secondary, I'd want to look at a corner in that situation. I feel like our safeties are pretty serviceable at this point. I mean, I like the guys we have. But we still
do we have that guy that can be aggressive and go?
I think so. I think Brian Cook's a good safety, and then last year we saw some things as well from other guys on this roster. So
my second position there, if we don't go safety, let's go defensive tackle. There's a couple guys down
tackle
there.
Needs to be
Ohio State has a guy. Ole Miss has a guy. Like we got some guys out there that we can go down and get a big guy.
Yeah, one guy I do like from Florida State, just because I like the size. Azare Thomas from Florida State, and he's like 6'1", about 200 pounds, good tackler, and he was on a really bad Florida State team. So, I mean, they were just terrible, but he was kind of one of the standouts on the roster, and I just think that you can never have too many good corners at this point in the NFL going against all the great receivers in the league, So, for me, it's like I look at that, and I just go, why not keep drafting corners every year? We need as many as we can get, and obviously they get expensive. I mean, they can at some point be trade bait, down the road or something like that. So I will say this defensive.
Yes, I'll take him all day at 31.
This defensive tackle class looks pretty damn awesome.
It really does. It's a deep class. The D-line class in general, it's a deep class this year.
And so you almost say you could take one there early, but if you wait, that's probably not the worst thing either. Or trade up in the second round maybe and try to get one as well. But there's options there at least. So I'll be curious to see one of my favorite linebackers from Ohio State, where he ends up, Jack Sawyer. I don't know if you guys watched a whole lot of him, but he was really, really good at Ohio State. I'm curious where he ends up in the league because I think he's going to be a great linebacker. Another, edge/linebacker, but that's another position the Chiefs need. I mean, the Chiefs need a little more depth at linebacker. And at this point, Willie Gay, I think, is still a free agent, but he's not brought back yet. And I just think they need some athleticism.
They do.
At the linebacker spot at this point, and just improve that. Get a guy that can actually maybe cover a tight end too would be nice. So,
yeah, I think for me at this point, I'm going defensive tackle all the way. And one guy I'm looking at is Darius Alexander out of Toledo, 6'4", 305 pounds, and he's got the size, length, and physicality. And so that's kind of what I'm looking at there.
Yeah, I mean that's what we're looking for at this point because we already have the run stopper. Mike Pennell's been brought back for another year. Chris Jones obviously is good at most things, obviously in the middle there. But we lost Tershawn Wharton, and then a couple of years ago, of course, our Noddy's now gone as well. Derek Noddy, who's been a longtime Chief, and then a couple of years ago,
dude, you hated that guy for so
Noddy?
long.
No, I never had a problem with him.
I thought you hated him.
Nah,
man.
he was just a run guy.
Derek Noddy was just a run stopper, an average run stopper. I didn't hate him.
You convinced me that he was a bum a couple of years ago.
I don't know, dude. I don't know. I think your memory's messing up a little bit there, but I don't know. I never had a problem with him. Maybe you were
hammered. You might have been hammered when you told me that. I don't know. You hated him for a couple of games there.
I don't know. I never really had a problem with Noddy. I thought he was okay. There's some defensive ends that I've kind of been iffy on lately, but I mean, I don't know. I don't really remember having a problem with Noddy.
KJ Winston from Penn State legend. Yeah, that's not bad, Hunter. I'd probably take him in the second round though. He doesn't seem too bad for his safety for you guys. So he has a 75 athleticism score.
Yeah.
So that's fifth best.
Yeah, you're worried about the safeties, Tanner. I'm not worried about safeties at all in this team right now. I'm feeling pretty good about them as they are. Brought back Mike Edwards as well as a rotational piece.
Yeah.
Oh, I know you don't care because he didn't do anything last year, but he didn't want to play for the Bills. That's the problem.
Well, nobody wants to play for the Bills. I wouldn't either.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll talk more about it in a couple of weeks and see how things are starting to shake out. But, man, this time of year kind of drains on me a little bit just because there's so much hoopla with information when it comes to the draft, and this team likes this player, this team doesn't like that player, this player visited this team, or this is in the top 30 visits, and There's like all this chaos, and I'm just
Did you
like,
see
I
this
can't even think straight.
And oh, by the way, Mel Kiper gets paid to say certain things about this
Yeah.
player and that player, which probably are not
Well,
even true. But they gave
yeah,
Mel Kiper a bunch of money.
It just confuses everybody. I mean, it just gets to where it's like too much, and I just get to where I'm like, all right, let's just get to the damn day and get to the draft and get it going. But
Right.
well, yeah, it's kind of where I'm standing at the moment. There's also, what do you guys think of tight end Mason Taylor?
I think he'll be gone. I think he'll be gone a little earlier than what we're thinking, but I like him. I think he'd be a nice little fill-in in case, something does happen.
Yeah, I'll be curious where he ends up, but I do not necessarily think the Chiefs go tight end that early, but I could be wrong. I mean, it took a guy last year in the mid-rounds. Noah Gray's still a good tight end. I think Travis has one more year left, so it's possible. We'll see how those things unfold. Now, if Mason Taylor can be anything nearly as good as his dad, that would be pretty awesome. So,
Yeah, one other thing that
how about this? Can he play defensive end as well as tight end? Play both ways. See if he can get
I'd have to
be
look.
a
I'd have to
D end
look
as
a
good
little
as his
closer
dad
there.
was.
one other thing to think about when you're talking about like Shedeur Sanders is like, and I think we've talked about it on the show before. When have you seen like a superstar son be better than a superstar dad? I feel like it's very rare.
Peyton Manning.
Yeah, Peyton Manning's the only guy we could think of. I think the last time we talked about this, and so when
Ken Griffey Jr.
yeah, but the dad wasn't a superstar though. So
Oh,
when you
so
look at,
what was you saying again?
I'm talking about when the dad is a superstar.
Oh, okay.
Like Deion
Already-
Sanders.
Okay.
When you have a superstar dad, has there been a point in history where the son has actually lived up to those standards? Because we know it didn't happen with Jordan, and we know that Archie Manning wasn't a superstar anyway, so you can't count Peyton Manning. But it's almost like anytime the dad is a superstar, the son 100% of the time fails. And I feel like that might be a thing that we need to start thinking about here because
I don't know. That's not. I don't know, man. Patrick Surtain Jr. sure looks good.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
rough though. But
What
yeah,
are you talking about rough though? Like you said,
I don't know, man. I'm talking about superstars in the league.
Yeah, I think
I'm not-
Surtain was like a 3-time Pro Bowler or something like
Yeah,
that.
he was.
I mean, back then when the Pro Bowl actually mattered.
I'm talking about faces of the league, like quarterbacks. Deion Sanders was the face of the league.
Yeah, I don't know, man. You're talking about basically an elite, somebody who had an elite father who then ended up having an
I'm
elite
saying
son.
when the son has to follow a shadow of a superstar, how many times has that panned out?
Well, normally
I don't feel
normally
like
it
it
doesn't,
happens
but-
that out at all. So
It doesn't mean
I'm
it
just
can't happen.
the only reason I brought it up is because you guys said that you guys aren't a big fan of Shedeur Sanders, and I don't have an opinion one way or the other. I'm just saying that when you look at the father, Deion Sanders, who is the GOAT corner, like you're probably destined for failure based on history in sports.
Yeah, and I wouldn't even compare him to his dad. If anything, I think he's getting the hype he's getting because of his dad.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
and I think that's all it
Correct.
comes down
The
to.
name.
And
Absolutely.
a lot of it's unnecessary.
So it's like basically like Kevin Biggio, which we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
He had some hype, and then he didn't do shit.
Yeah, I mean, more often than not, it doesn't work out. But every once in a while, who was it for the Titans lineman or gosh, I'm trying to think of one of the linemen that ended up being like also really really good, but I can't remember right now. There's a Hall of Fame father that played for the Oilers.
I'm talking about household names. I'm talking about household names where the son
Callahan?
actually
No, not Callahan.
the son lives up to what the father did in the league, and I'm just not. That would be my
Bryce
case.
Hopkins?
That
Brad Hopkins, Bryce Hopkins.
Bruce Matthews.
Oh,
Okay.
Matthews.
Okay, so I was going to use Bruce Matthews as an example for Clay Matthews when he played.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I feel like maybe that's
Don't get
one
it
that was pretty
confused,
good.
people. Not that Clay Matthews.
So, well,
I just think Shedeur Sanders is destined for failure, man, just because he's chasing the ghost of his father, and that stuff never turns out well.
yeah.
I mean,
I don't know, man.
Michael Jordan's one of his sons at least tried to play basketball, and he was an epic failure.
So Bruce was actually the uncle. My bad. Okay, so Bruce was actually the uncle of Clay Matthews. That's what I was misremembering on that. So
I got you.
I don't know. I'm not gonna say it's
mean,
not possible.
You're going to find out with Arch Manning, one way or the other.
Yeah, well, that's gonna be pretty tough. I mean, Eli got 2 rings and Peyton got 2 rings.
So in theory, that would be another epic failure. But that's why I think that Shedeur Sanders is probably going to be a failure as well.
Yeah, it's also pretty hard to be a top 10 player of all time at your position. So
Yeah.
like that in general is just not easy to do. We'll see, like Marvin Harrison Jr. We'll see how that goes. So far he looks okay.
I'm trying to make the case for Shedeur Sanders falling down the draft board, which, as we all know, that's not going to happen. Oh, I don't think it's going to happen. There's way too much hype. Way too much
Shedeur?
hype.
I could see him falling.
I could see Shedeur going to 9. I could see him as far down as, I think it's 11.
But that's not really falling.
I think he could go
that
in the
is
second
falling.
round.
No,
We're
not
talking
really.
a guy that was
You
once.
think second round?
I think it's possible to go second round.
No, I don't
Second.
know. I don't
Okay,
think he gets
second
that
round
far.
is significant.
I don't think it's that far.
I think that would
But
be
you're talking about a
significant.
guy that was leading into the combine as potentially
You
the number 1 overall.
You said number 11. If you draft somebody at 11, that's a big swing. You're taking a big swing at a quarterback.
Hold on. We're talking about a guy that was number 1 potentially overall leading
Doesn't
into
matter.
the combine. And now he's possibly
Doesn't matter.
9, 11.
You still going to waste your
Lower
11th
than that.
pick, 11th overall pick? You're going to waste that?
Some people will.
on some
When
guy?
you don't need to rush him in, right? We talked about this conversation about rushing guys in early. Why not have him sit behind a couple guys behind? Like maybe, I don't know.
I'm just proposing
Purdy.
a theory here. I'm proposing a theory that when the dad is just too good, then the son is destined for failure.
I don't believe
Like
that.
if I'm the Browns or Giants or whatever, like I look at that situation and I go, I'd rather wait another year.
Oh yeah,
and try
I'm not. Those guys.
See if I can get
You
Arch.
can't pass on Travis Hunter. You can't pass on Duel. So
Sure.
you
But
can't pass
I'm
on
not,
those 2 guys.
I'm just not going to take Shedeur Sanders just because he's the next quarterback available. Like I feel like that would set me back
It
if
would.
it's wrong,
It
which I
would.
think it could be wrong.
It's
I
wrong.
I would rather.
It is wrong.
I'd rather just say screw this year than again.
You were just fine for a
And-
year
and
to see what
hopefully-
happens.
Hopefully lose all your games to get Arch Manning. You know,
I think
So.
a team.
Yeah, I would totally take Arch Manning.
Yeah, I don't know.
you got better odds for success with Arch Manning, in my opinion, than you do with Sanders.
Yeah.
And
And
I
at
watched
the end-
enough Sanders at Colorado. The guy made some good plays here and there. I don't know how much of
hey,
that translates to the NFL.
At the end of the day, both Sanders and Arch Manning could both be turds. It's possible.
Of course, that is possible. We'll see though. We'll see what all happens.
Did we lose this game?
Yeah, it was 4-0.
Jesus.
Pretty bad. So, all right. Well, now we're back to what 6-6 then, Tanner? Is that what you're saying?
Yep.
All right. Well, you guys have any final thoughts before we get out of here for the day?
I wanted your guys' thoughts here. What's your thoughts on this news of de-existing the dire wolf? Is that smart? I don't think that's smart. I'm like, there's.
What are you talking about?
You talking about
dire wolf.
tariffs? Are we talking about tariffs?
No, I said
I
It
don't
might
know
as well
about
be because
that.
I don't know. What the
I
hell he's
said
talking
the
about.
dire wolf is back. Like they use science to now you have real life dire wolves being born.
Dire wolf.
You know, the old wolf that got extinct over 10,000 years ago.
Dude, it's been extinct. How am I
Massive.
supposed to know? I had to look this thing up or what?
You've never heard of a dire wolf?
A dire wolf. I don't even know how to spell dire wolf.
Like they're using science to recreate the cells. Now they're bringing dire wolves.
Well, I
back.
spelled it right.
Clones? Are they clones?
I spelled it right. That's good. Okay.
Well, that's no big deal. I can clone. They've been cloning human beings for a
Dude,
long time now.
Why
would I
do you
care
even
about
care
a wolf?
about the cloning or the creation again
It's
of the
just
dire
the
wolf?
start. It's just the start. What's next?
Well, sure.
Jurassic Park.
Yeah, bring back the dinosaurs, man. Saber-toothed cats. Yeah, no, I'd bring back saber-tooth. That'd be fun, wouldn't it?
Yeah, let's walk through the woods and have a saber-tooth cat.
That'd be pretty wild, actually.
I like the idea of cloning people because then
Wow.
if you have somebody who makes some mistakes in his life, you could give him a redo and you just say, "Hey, here you go, dude. I'm gonna clone you, and I know you effed up in your real life, but we're gonna give you another chance, man. Produce your clone."
I'm glad Tanner knows about this dire wolf stuff because I don't know. I don't think I've ever heard of it. And honestly, it doesn't look that much different than any other wolf other than it's white.
It's
And maybe that's why Tanner
bigger.
wanted to talk. Oh, okay, it's a big white wolf. Maybe that's why Tanner wanted to talk about
all
it.
right. Never mind. We're not gonna. I thought you guys would be more opinionated.
Well,
let's
no,
see.
I am
is your
opinionated.
question about cloning?
I'm opinionated that your
the
take
fact
on
that they did this since it's successful. Yeah.
I'm not surprised. Like
Okay.
at
Okay.
this point in our lives, I mean, we should expect that to happen every day.
Let's see here. We got some comments to run through here real quick. Flint Eastwood said, "Are we doing Gretzky and Ovechkin stats?" And yeah, I mean,
you should do it.
I don't know if you.
Pull it up
I don't know
there,
if you
dude.
did it, but I know
Tanner
I
will
bet it.
pull it up, dude. Come on, dude.
Ovechkin did pass Gretzky as the all-time
Like
goal
yesterday.
scorer
Yeah, yesterday.
yesterday. And
So
there
who's
was-
the GOAT? Who's the GOAT of hockey?
It's still
right
Gretzky.
now?
It's still Gretzky. He still
Sure?
owns way too many records to not be the GOAT.
Are
But
you biased?
No, it's stats. It's factual.
I think you're biased, man. I think you need to introduce more DEI into the discussion.
Well, he does.
Flint
He
Eastwood-
does DI training at work.
Well,
Flint
let him
Eastwood
finish his stuff.
Said
I
you
don't
can't
know.
name two sons. It doesn't exist. It doesn't. He's saying it doesn't exist.
You can't name two sons.
Two Phoenix Suns,
In
or
all
what are we?
sports.
What are we
In all
talking about?
sports.
What do you? I mean, we named a few. What does he mean by that?
You can't name a father-son in all sports that failed, like what you're talking about.
No,
And then-
Failed.
no. My whole point is, I want to see a superstar son that
Right.
that outpaced the superstar father.
Oh, good.
Like
So-
you
so-
had, for example, we had Ken Griffey Sr., who was a mediocre player, and then the son eclipsed his father. That's fine. We see that all day. We see that all day long. I'm talking about, when has a superstar father been equaled by a superstar son? And you're not gonna. I'm not gonna give you Archie Manning and Peyton Manning, because Peyton Manning obliterated Archie Manning, and Eli Manning obliterated the father. I'm talking about when the father is the best player, one of the best players in the league, like Deion Sanders. When has the son not failed? I guess there might be a better way to phrase that question.
I think the
But-
Surtain thing was pretty good though. Like
Surtain is good.
He had 3 Pro Bowls with two first-team All-Pros as well.
But Pat Surtain was not the senior. That was never a household name. I'm talking about household names.
I mean, at the time, he was a top dog as a corner.
Yeah.
He was top 5 in the league at the time.
I'm just saying, in today's NFL, it's got to be a quarterback. It's got to be a quarterback.
Gotcha.
And that's why I'm just saying, like, there's no way. Like, Shedeur is not going to be a superstar in the league and eclipse his father, who was maybe not the face of the league back then, but at the end of the day was the best corner in history.
Yeah. And then his final one was Arch played in 9 games with 2 starts. Stop.
Yeah, so far.
Yeah, we'll see coming up here when he plays the season.
Yeah, so far.
I ain't judging him yet.
No, yeah, we'll see how things go next year. Obviously for him, this year coming up, I guess. But right now, the obvious projection is that he would be in the draft, going somewhere next year, number 1 overall. That's the current projection based on all reports.
Yep.
Of the expectations, I should say.
Expectations that come with it. So
Yeah, it's an interesting topic, though. I mean, I feel like there's some players out there that we're not thinking of that could almost fit that. Hey, how about Vladimir Guerrero Jr.? You know, he's doing okay still,
he
right?
got a big contract.
Yeah.
I like that. That might be the best comparison yet, because Vlad Sr. was actually, I feel like he was a superstar.
Oh yeah,
He was
I
a
think so.
superstar.
yeah, I definitely think
King
so.
Griffey.
Well, yeah, that's what we've been talking about.
I just feel like when you get into the mentality of that sort of thing, it's just like when you're the son in that situation, I feel like a lot of times you can be in awe of what the father did when you're growing up, and you just automatically write it off, where you're just like, yeah, I can be great. I can accomplish a lot of great things, but I'm never going to do that. And I just feel like it's almost as a son, it's almost like you're going to do the best you can, but you put your father on a pedestal to a certain extent. It's just like, yeah, I want to be like him, but I'm never going to eclipse him. And that's kind of the mentality that I think some of these guys have.
Well, we'll see if Marvin Harrison can ever do that at this point, because that would be your next best potential in the NFL that's currently playing.
Yes. But even Marvin Harrison, how good was he? He had Peyton Manning.
He was amazing. Marvin Harrison was incredible.
He was phenomenal.
He was amazing.
He's a Hall of Famer.
He was amazing when he started carrying guns.
Marvin Harrison
know?
was an incredible wide receiver.
You're not, so you don't give. Oh, but you're an anti-Peyton Manning guy, so that's why you're saying that.
No, I'm saying it because I truly believe it.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, I'm saying
That's fine.
Marvin Harrison was
But-
going to be great no matter what.
But to be fair, you are an anti-Peyton Manning guy, so you
I'm
want to
just not
give
a
Marvin.
fan.
You want to give Marvin Harrison as much credit as possible.
oh, Marvin,
And you
was
know
awesome.
that, Tanner. You know he hates Peyton
Oh,
Manning.
I do know.
Oh,
How about
Marvin was
Mel
awesome.
Curry, Steph Curry?
Not a superstar. I want people who are faces of the league, like Deion Sanders.
That's hard to do, man. It's hard to be
There's not that many
a
guys.
top 3 player of your position,
Yeah,
and then
that's
replicate
hard.
that with someone else. It's just
Top
hard to
5, top 5, top 10, top 20 in the history of the game.
do. It's just hard to do.
Yeah, it's almost impossible for the Sun to be that good.
That's why it's impossible for anybody to be that good.
Yeah.
You know?
That's why it's
It's just
face
But
of the
that, but
league.
that's why I'm saying, like, if Shedeur Sanders somehow becomes an NFL superstar, he is bucking the odds, unlike we've ever seen ever, because he's playing the most important position in the NFL.
I mean,
Like, it just
right now
it's
we're
insane.
in current of Keith Tajuk. That was the NHL, and he has 2 sons playing right now. One with Florida that are about to go win possibly another championship. So
well, apparently he's got to be a top 3 player of all time, Tanner, for this to count.
no.
Dale Earnhardt,
There's
Dale
no
Earnhardt
dude.
Jr.
Yeah, well, Junior, but
Ooh,
no.
that might be it.
not even close.
You don't like Dale Jr.?
No, Junior was never even close to being as good as his dad was. Not even close to being that good.
So you're making my point for me right now.
I know.
You're making my
that's why I'm
freaking
telling you
point.
it's not a good example.
Because I don't follow racing as much as you guys do, so I
just-
thought that maybe that could be a decent point.
It's just
but-
not a good example as well. It's as good as I don't know, but it's just it doesn't work for what you're trying
what
to
you're
refer
saying.
to.
I just
Dale Jr. was a good driver. I'm just saying for what you're trying to say, which is Dale Jr. was number 1, like top 3 all time as a driver, and Junior was never even close to that.
yeah, I'm all out, man. I'm out on Shedeur Sanders just based on that one argument. So
All right.
if any scouts are listening to me,
I got other reasons. But
if any scouts are listening to me, I'm just gonna throw it out there right now. Like,
well, then you should not like Arch Manning either. Then so
I don't like him.
well, that's
He
all
sucks.
That's what I would think. So. But I guess maybe this is a little different because Arch Manning is not the son of Peyton or Eli. He's the son of the other brother who never made it.
Ooh,
So that's something
different.
to think about.
So okay, so he's out. He's out. He's
so that's not even.
That
Yeah,
doesn't count.
I just realized that as we're talking.
He can do his own thing. He doesn't count towards that discussion.
Right. They have to be like actual son and father.
Yep.
So yeah, actually, so he doesn't count then.
Yeah, he doesn't.
So Bronny.
Thought about
What
that.
about Bronny? Let's talk about Bronny.
All right,
Everybody wants
you
to
ready
talk
to get
about
out of
Bronny.
here? We're ready to get out of here.
Yeah.
As soon as we bring that up, everybody wants to get out of here, dude.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to talk about Bronny, dude.
Oh, boy. All right. All right, man. Well, I guess we'll be back in a couple of weeks, day before the draft. So looking forward to digging more into that, and hopefully we got something to. Maybe there's a trade by then. Who knows?
Maybe.
I guess we'll find out. So
Maybe Aaron Rodgers signs somewhere.
go to Minnesota, like I've been saying, man.
Ain't gonna happen.
New York Giants. Come on, Aaron.
Russell
All right.
Wilson's there,
Yeah.
Sucks.
so he's
I
not going to
want-
the Giants.
That would be fun, though, man. Could you do Hard Knocks when they're just battling for a job? That'd
Wilson,
be amazing.
Wilson, Jameis, and Rodgers.
That would be the greatest Hard Knocks
That'd
ever.
be the hell of a.
That would be the
battle,
greatest
dude.
ever, dude.
God.
Hell of a
What
battle.
mess. All right, guys. Well, that's all for today.